All good. Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. I'm happy to have Gabrielle St. George joining us today. Just a little bit about Gabrielle. So Gabrielle is a Canadian screenwriter and story editor with credits on over 100 produced TV shows both in the US and Canada. Her feature film scripts have been optioned in Hollywood. She is a member of the Writers Guild of Canada, Crime Writers of Canada, Sisters in Crime, Mystery Writers of America, and International Thriller Writers. Gabrielle writes humorous mysteries and domestic noir about subjects of which she is an expert, mostly failed relationships, hence her debut soft-boiled series, The Ex-Whisperer. I can see your cats come to join you as well.
Hitting me in the face.
And so The Ex-Whisperer Files, which launches How to Murder a Marriage. And she's also the author of the non-fiction Girl Guides, which includes How to Say So Long to Mr. Wrong, How to Know if He's Having an Affair, and How to Survive the Love You Hate to Love. Gabrielle lives in a wildly magical life on a fairy tale farm along the Saugeen River, and Saugeen, okay, river, and that's in Canada, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and spends weekends in her 1930s cabin on the shores of Lake Huron with her partner and extremely disobedient dogs. And when she's not writing, painting, gardening, stargazing, moon dancing, and daylighting, she travels the world to visit her 4 fabulous children who live abroad. Well, thanks so much, Gabrielle, for joining us, and it was good to see your cat. I've got for my little kitten that I only got 2 days ago, so this is Coco. And what's your cat's name?
Spook.
Oh,
this is Spook. Yeah. He's very bad. Very old and very bad.
Wants to join
Just plopped himself here.
Yeah. Just wondering if you want to talk to us a little bit about your latest book.
So it's my first novel, my first book, and How to Murder a Marriage is about a woman who's about to turn 50 years old, newly divorced, empty nester, and she just hits reset on her life and sells up everything, her home, her furniture, and everything else, and moves from the greater Toronto area in Southern Ontario, Canada, 3 hours north to the shores of Lake Huron to a tiny little tourist town that half the population is her extended family. She grew up there, but has been away for decades, and moves into a little old family cottage that belongs to her now, that needs a lot of work. And she hires a hot contractor to do the work. And in the actual story, her ex-husband is stalking her, and a reader, she's a relationship advice book author and also advice columnist. So a woman writes into her column and asks for advice about her controlling husband and that she's fearful of him. So the ex-whisperer, the main character, advises the woman to take a doggy, and subsequent to that, the woman goes missing. And then her husband is coming after Gina, asking, where is my wife? So there's kind of a few stalking situations, and we're trying to figure out who it is. She's trying to figure out which one it is and how to protect herself. And she's supposed to be starting this fab new life. A few wrenches in there.
But a bit of humor as well in the book, it sounds like.
It's a humorous mystery. It's kind of, I call it soft-boiled. It's not quite a cozy. It's definitely not hard-boiled, but it's soft-boiled, which I think is a genre that I just wrote an article for Crime Reads. It just came out 2 or 3 days ago. And I've had like so many women reaching out to me from all over North America, just saying like, this spoke to me viscerally. Yeah. I feel so unrepresented in media, not just in books, but I tried to find like mystery series with, I love a cozy. I love cozies, and I crazily love hard boiled. But sometimes I want the thing in between where the women are, because of, you know, even standalone suspense and thrillers, the women are in their 20s or 30s, maybe in their 40s. And it's so different. It's such a different planet to be on. And to find, you know, in the cozies, sure, there's all kinds of middle-aged women, and, you know, they got cats as sidekicks, and they're knitting and baking and everything. But sometimes you want something a little more real, a little more kindred. And that's what I tried to do with this book. And that seems to be what the majority of people are really responding to. It's like, this woman is so real and so honest, and she's kind of warts and all, and, you know, a failed attempt at having sex with the hot contractor. It's like, just goes south, and like, oh, forget it, you know, stuff that really happens.
Yeah. And how much of you is in her?
Oh, so just way too much. Way too much. My kids say she is me. I say she's a version of me. They say she is me. So jury's out, but it's there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And the one thing is, what I did, since she's a relationship advice columnist and self-help book author, and she writes under the name of the Ex Whisperer. So I actually wrote 3 self-help books, which are the titles you read out.
Yeah.
And they're written by her. They're written by the Ex Whisperer, the main character from the mystery. So those the first 3 just came out with this first in the series 2 days ago.
Okay. No, that sounds really exciting. And it sounds like you've had an interesting career before you have published your first novel. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I went to film school for uni, and I was a screenwriter and story editor, mostly detective shows, police shows. And I mean, since I've been reading Nancy Drew under the covers as a kid, like, that's just been my favorite thing, mysteries. And so same in film and television. And then I had 4 kids in 5 years. Loads of fun. Love it still. It was the best time. And I wrote some feature scripts that, you know, were optioned in Hollywood. They didn't get made, as 99% of the feature scripts optioned don't get made. And it's really hard to work in that industry and have a family, unless you're a male and you have a wife at home who's, you know, doing all the heavy lifting there. It's really, really hard. My last job offer, when I just had my 4th child, my agent was on the phone begging me, and it was a great job. And I said, yeah, I'd have to get a nanny. And he said, you can get 4 nannies with what they're going to pay you, you know, but it's just not how I wanted to do it. So no regrets. I'm also an artist. I paint large paintings, and I sell them in galleries in Canada and the US. So I've done a lot of painting over the last bunch of years. I think, and I also, when I was in my early 20s, I owned a dance school. And I think I'm just in general, I'm an artist. I dance, I write, I paint, I garden, I love to cook, you know. I think just creating is what I most like to do.
Sounds like you'd have a lot more novels in you with all the experiences you've had in your life.
Yeah, this one is the first of a 3-book deal, although publishers are eager to extend. And same with the Gal Guides, the nonfiction. For the next 2 summers, book 2 in the mystery will come out at the same time as book 4 of the self-help Gal Guides.
Yeah.
And then the summer after, which so next July and the following July, book 3 in the mystery with book 5 of the Gal Guides. So we'll carry on.
Yeah. And we've got quite a few people watching, which is really great.
Hey.
If people have questions for Gabrielle, please type them in comments and I'll read them out. Nicole says she loves your description, soft-boiled. I don't think I've really heard of that description before myself.
Yeah, it's such an important thing, because in cozies, the characters can't swear. I personally love profanity, but they can't swear. They, you know, there's no sex. That's okay. That's not I don't love, like, a steamy romance kind of thing. But it's just not real. And sometimes we just want, I think, to see ourselves, you know, to recognize ourselves and to really relate. And that's the one thing with this character. She just like, literally, it's warts and all, mostly warts. And like I said, people are really responding to that. And I did search for mystery series, and I hope I missed some that had like real women doing real things. I mean, still fiction. Like this character is still like braver than brave. She might be like me, but she's better than me. She's braver than me and stronger than me and more adventurous than me, you know? So there's still all that. But a character who's not only doing the things we are doing as middle-aged women, but doing the things we wish we were doing too.
Yeah, yeah. And have you found that there's a common type of woman who's reading your book? Is it middle-aged women or is it?
Well, no, you know what is shocking to me? Because it only came out 2 days ago, but I ended up reaching out to a lot of the whole Bookstagrammer community on Instagram, which has turned out to just be the most beautiful, supportive group of women. I mean, they support each other. I've really have found that with the whole author community is also so new to me. The community, I've never been involved, and I just keep being shocked at how much support and genuine love and care there is. It's like no one is like, oh, she'll get my piece of the pie, or they'll buy her book instead of mine. It's not like, I'm not finding that at all. It's everyone is like throwing your book up there. Congrats, it's release day for this one and that one. But the Bookstagrammers, to answer your question, just the nature of Instagram, they're mostly younger women. They're in their 20s, they're in their 30s, maybe some are in their 40s, not too many that I have encountered, not by the looks and sounds of them. And I really thought my book would be targeted to my character's turning 50. I thought it would for sure in their 40s and up. But these Bookstagrammers who are young women are like surprising me so wildly because they're crazy about the character Gina. And I'm like, why do you care about a 50-year-old woman? But they do. They love it. They love her. And that's kind of just been surprising. So I thought it would be mostly older women, but it's not. I think it's just a fun book. And again, I think because it's soft-boiled and we don't really see that much, but I think we need to. I hope we do more. I hope other writers start writing them too.
Yeah. And that's really interesting that it has attracted a lot of younger people. Have they said to you what they love about the character?
Most of them, I like, even the reviews they put up online, they're saying, I loved her honesty. I loved how real she was. A lot of it, the word honesty comes up a lot. And then they really like her relationship. She has like a wacky family, and that's the humor, you know, her extended family to where she moves. And but she has good friends, and, you know, I love a great female friendship so much. And I don't even know if, you know, a lot of male writers aren't great at writing female friendships because it's not easy to do if you haven't, you know, if you're like female friendship, not female male friendship, obviously. But the other thing that's so cool to me, I don't know if you're aware, I just started growing my silver hair out 7 months ago. So this is like the fugly stage.
And it looks really great.
But, you know, on Instagram, there's the whole Silver Sisters movement. And, you know, like ditch the dye and all this. And man, those women, it almost reminds me of the bra burning in the 60s. They're so empowered. They're so just like, F you and the horse you rode in on. You know, men with gray hair are called silver foxes, and women are called old, and they're told they're letting themselves go. And all these, I mean, it's millions of women who are in this, like, literally this, like, radical movement of, like, then they're supporting each other like crazy, like, the trolls online. And of course, there's trolls and haters. My publisher says to me, if you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong. So there, horrible people are everywhere online. And these women, they get comments from people who are, like, literally so, like, personally offended by what, gray hair or growing older or older women in general. I don't even know, but it's like, oh, I feel sorry for your husband, and oh, you look so old and terrible. It's like, oh, awful. But all these women are just like, no, we're beautiful, we're strong, we're supporting each other. And those are kind of those women I am idolizing right now. And I want my book to serve those women.
Yeah.
I want my books to serve them. I want to be part of that wave of empowerment of middle-aged women and elder women, you know?
No, that's great. That's because that is something that has been really missing and lacking. So that's really great to hear. Yeah. Jill wonders what sort of books you like to read yourself, and I'm wondering if maybe there is anything you'd like to recommend that you could have been reading lately.
Well, so the one part of the question, my favorite author of all time is Alice Hoffman. And I love practical magic. I love it all. I love her magical realism. And yeah, whenever I say her name, I get all dewy-eyed. I just love her so much. I love hard-boiled fiction. I love Walter Mosley and Elmore Leonard and Robert B. Parker. I love all that old detective hard-boiled stuff. I love funny, but there's not that much funny. You know, even Nora Ephron. I love Bridget Jones's Diary. I love funny, but I think the one thing and the reason I will continue to write humor is that, true or not, I don't know, but you know, many people say, whether it's stand-up comedy or writing comedy, that it's the hardest thing to do. I feel like if you can do it, you should. And so many people right now are like reaching out to me and just like, I really need something funny. It's been 2 years of hell. I need something funny, right? Yeah. But I just read The Thursday Murder Club.
Oh yes, yeah, I've read that one. Yeah,
and it was excellent and really, really good. Again,
that would be would you call that one soft-boiled as well?
No, not at all. No. It's a funny, cozy mystery, I would still say. Yeah. You know, there's nothing raunchy going on. Nothing has to be raunchy, but everyone, you know, is pretty sweet, even the bad guys. Yeah. And then I read another one, which a Canadian author, The Girls Are All So Nice Here. And it was good, but again, I really felt the characters were in their 30s. It's a college 10-year college reunion. And I mean, a few decades ago, I would have been riveted. I just like couldn't really relate. You know, it was a little bit boring for me. And it's just that, and again, it's just kind of that search for something. What I'm reading right now, though, is, and I'm late to the party, is Finlay Donovan is Killing It. Okay. I'm only like 100 pages in. And a few people have said to me, oh, your book it really reminds me of Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I had already got the book. But, and it's a funny mystery. So I'm enjoying that one. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for those recommendations. Divine wonders what TV shows you've written that we might know, especially like a lot of our viewers are in Australia.
Yeah, and I haven't written television in like 20 years. Yeah. So the television I wrote, Night Heat, Diamonds, they were in America. It was CBS Network shooting shows in Toronto because it was cheaper here to shoot with the dollar, difference in the dollar. But yeah, I mean, Anne of Green Gables, shows that have been off the air for a while. And then I was writing films, after that.
Yeah. And Nicole's got a good question. She says she's curious about the publication of the self-help guide along with the main novel. Was this planned from the start, or did it evolve when you were writing the main book?
Yeah, a good question. I actually had the idea, and it was, I just came up with it as a marketing idea before I had written the mystery. So I thought, oh, she's going to be a relationship advice guru because that's interesting to me and it's fun, and plus she has really crap relationships, so it's kind of funny. But you know, I always remember that saying, we teach best what we most need to learn. So that's my motto with the character Gina. So I actually wrote 2 of the self-help books, and then I wrote the mystery. And then the publisher, when she took on the mystery, and then they took on the 2 self-help. And so then I wrote the 3rd self-help book. So it was planned, and it was just kind of, I thought, oh, kind of like life imitating art, imitating life. I'm going to have the the main character in the mystery write these self-help books, but I'll really write the books.
Yeah.
So it's just that idea. Hadn't been done.
It's an interesting concept, isn't it? So,
yeah.
And I haven't heard of anyone doing that. Have you heard of anyone at all?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
quite unique.
Kind of cool. Yeah. And they're shorter. I don't know if they're like, I'm not really sure. I didn't check. I just got the PDFs from them. They're 80 or 100 pages long.
Okay.
They're like 20,000 words.
Yeah.
So, or just under. So they're just like little manuals, and they're like look like little like scout guidebooks. That was the design for them.
And Divine's wondering if you have a preference for writing TV, film, or books, and like whether one you think is harder or easier than the other.
Ah, that's a tough question. Lifestyle wise, books is easier because for television, film you can write from where you are, but there's meetings and you have to be in the city. And I've left Toronto and I'm 3 hours north now. So and so writing books really suits my lifestyle now because it's just me and the pets, and we're out in the country and doing our thing. And I got the wood stove going here, and it's stormy outside, and I can just put the kettle on and keep going. So I don't have to get in the car and drive anywhere. So that is good for me. As far as the actual writing, screenplays are easier for me. It's what I was, that was my training ground. But I also love short. I like writing short and I like reading short. I just like, the long, gorgeous passages that like win awards. It's tough for me to read them. I like short. So screenplays are good. My novel's not even that long. I think it's 82,000 words. Yeah. And yeah, I find the novel hard because it just takes so long. And right now I'm writing the second one and I only have 3 weeks left. And it's literally like a gun to my head. And I'm just like stressing out of my mind. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. I'm just like not going to sleep for the next 3 weeks. But it's like climbing Mount Everest to me. The other thing is with screenwriting, you outline. First there's a treatment that's a few pages long. Then there's a treatment that's a few extra pages longer. And everyone gives their notes and everyone gives their opinions. And you change it all to make everyone happy. And then, you do your outline, and then it's an outline with every scene broken down. So when you go to write it, if you color outside of the lines, you kind of have to explain yourself, which you do all the time, but you still have this like really specific blueprint. So when I wrote the first book, I had a blueprint, and then I was just surprised that I was just like kind of watching it go out the window, and the characters were coming to life and taking over, which sounds like a good thing. I thought, oh, that sounds good. I was basically a stenographer, but I just didn't trust the process. Like, is this crap? I don't know. And now I'm writing the second one and I'm pretty sure it's crap. Don't buy the book. It's like, that's how I feel right now. And I'm just like, my outline is gone. Like, oh, I thought this one was the killer, and now the killers come from center left stage. I'm like, who are you? So it's this whole crazy process that I'm so unfamiliar with. I'm just trying to go with the flow. I guess we'll see how it turns out.
But what you mentioned sounds a lot like what other authors I've spoken to say happens when they're writing as well.
That they just
go.
The pantsers. I'm not a pantser, but I'm being forced by my characters to be one.
And the characters take over and telling you where they want to go.
Yeah. I'm going to tell them where to go.
Yeah. Jill wonders if you have a regular writing routine.
Right now, it's just 22 hours a day. 7 days a week. Right now under deadline. It's a funny thing because I do create. I always set myself up so that I'm under a crazy deadline, and some of us do that to ourselves, even after all these decades of wishing we didn't. It still happens, and I feel like when the deadline's not totally pressing, but it's always looming, but not killer. I walk my dogs every day. I get up really early in the morning. I love to get up in the dark. I think it's just throw back from when my kids were little, just to have an hour or even half an hour of silence to yourself. Get up and stare, watch the sunrise with my coffee. I can do that for hours, hours. But, and I walk the dog and I garden, I do these things, and it looks like I'm not working, but I know I'm working. I know I'm writing in my head. I'm dreaming up characters and stories. So that when I write pretty fast because I've been walking and gardening and dreaming. So a lot of it's here, Yeah. Routine. Yeah. My routine is to procrastinate until the gun is cocked at my head. And then I just eat very little and sleep very little for a couple of months. It sucks. I don't recommend it at all.
Oh, that's funny. Divine wonders if you have a group of authors that you bounce things off with.
I don't, and that's so sad. I did. My very best friend in the world passed a couple years ago from cancer, and we wrote together and read together, and literally for 30 years talked 10 times a day. So I'm still broken from that. But I just moved a few months ago because I need therapy, and I am just copying my character, who I sat in Toronto literally and moved her in the book 3 hours north. 2 years ago when I wrote it, and then a few months ago I sold up everything where I'd lived for 30 years and moved to the exact town I'd sent her to. So it's a bit scary. But anyway, that's where I am now. And just online now, I think through Sisters in Crime, it seems to be about 5 or 6 mystery authors who are kind of within like 2 hours of each other. And we just kind of connected, and we're just like, let's like pick a coffee shop and meet up. Everyone kind of drive for 45 minutes or an hour. So that's the plan. And I'm really looking forward to that. I would love that. Up here, I don't really know anyone yet, but it's a tiny town, but everyone's lovely. But going to a full moon ritual. That's my first meeting some gal pals next weekend. So maybe we'll see who's there.
Sounds exciting. And could you tell me, like, what sort of research you've had to do for your book?
So the most of the research was because a lot of it's just autobiographical. That part wasn't. But the self-help stuff, loads of research. So each of those books, one of the latest one was on narcissism. The one before that was on like cheaters and liars. So like the body language of lying, like how to detect it and things like that. And then the other one was how to say so long to Mr. Wrong, breaking up without breaking down. So just like on how to get out of bad relationships and how to heal from bad relationships. So just lots of reading and Googling and research for the self-help books, but not so much for the mysteries. I mean, that's in there. But crossover.
And like your book, I think you said you're signed for 3 books in the series. Is that right? Have you had any thoughts? How do you keep, with the series, keep the readers interested in the series?
I don't feel like it'll be hard because even though she's moved to a tiny town, there's all these eccentric characters, but it's really, what I'm going to use is, and how I created it for that purpose is because she's an advice columnist, people are writing in all the time. And so people are reaching out to her with problems, coming to her with problems. And I actually have women writing to me pretty regularly because of the self-help books, like asking for advice and stuff. So there's just all these, it's an easy way to have people enter your life who, could have mysterious stuff going on.
And could you tell me what you hope readers will love about your book?
I really hope, like I said, I feel like if you can write, if your dog, if you can write funny, you should, because people need it. And I really feel that my calling is being an entertainer, and I feel like it's a really high calling. And if people can just get a few laughs out of my book and feel good. If I can make someone feel good while they read it, then I've succeeded. That's my measurement of success.
And when you're writing, could you tell me, do you have any favorite snack or drink when you're writing?
Yeah, so I'm a coffee addict in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm also a cookie crazy. Cookie addict, cookie crazy, and like tea and cookies, which I had just before we got on. Like I have cookies every morning. It's terrible. I have cookies every morning, any kind of cookie. I have never met a cookie I didn't like. I just like, yeah. So that would be my thing for sure. Tea and cookies, coffee and cookies.
And what have you found the most difficult part of your writing process?
Oh, getting the damn thing done.
Yeah.
So hard. But the most difficult thing of the actual writing process, again, I'm still like struggling and shocked with the like wavering from the outline, and then I guess trusting that it worked the first time, so trusting that I can trust my intuition or whatever, like spiritual family, whatever's coming in to help me here. I can just like go with it and trust. But it's really important to me in my writing and in my life to tell the truth. Really, it's just, well, I mean, number one to me is to be kind. My worst thing in the whole planet is cruelty. Particularly to animals, kids. I cannot abide it. It's my worst thing.
Yeah.
So kindness, that's the thing. But telling the truth. And it's also the hardest thing to do for writers, I think. And it's the advice when people ask me, what advice would you give to a new writer? Like, tell the truth, like tell your truth. And it doesn't, well, a lot of people get stuck on, oh, but this person's still alive and they're going to recognize themselves and they're going to be angry with me. And, that's what Anne Lamott said. They should have behaved better. Like, tell the truth, and it's hard to do, but we can all smell fakery a mile away. Online, we're all experts now at knowing what's BS, or we should be, unless you go down the like flat earth rabbit hole. But other than that, if you're like rational, there's no way that's true. And so I think it's really important to really try to be, that word authentic is so overused now. Be your authentic self. But I mean, it's overused for a reason. I think it's good advice.
Yeah, no, I love that answer. That's a great answer. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been great chatting to me. Just wondering if you want to tell people watching how they can keep in touch with you.
Sure. So my website is my name, Gabrielle St. George. So stgeorge.com, GabrielleSt.George.com. And under that name, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I don't love social media. I'm not doing Twitter and all these other things, but Instagram is my favorite. And I'm also on Facebook. And message me, reach out. Happy to connect. So happy to connect.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks so much. And thanks to everyone who joined in. We had some good questions. Thanks.
Thank you for everyone. Australia, so cool. And Jackie and your kitten. And it was lovely. I just deeply appreciate being invited on. Really enjoyable. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care.